Although the person who first informed you that money can't buy happiness certainly had a lot of it, they weren't precisely right either. As a rapper, I don't often take financial advice from him, but he's got a solid point when it comes to the fact that money is not everything and you can't accept that. Even though I don't always take financial advice from rappers, I believe he's making a fair point here. Today, we will talk about how to achieve financial freedom. Hey, how much money did it take to make? You owe me 20 bucks and I'm sure you can even emulate it. When we don't have it, every problem seems to revolve around money and well-being. Rich won't fix every problem in your life, but stacking up some money seems like a worthwhile pursuit when we become financially free. Hello, I'd appreciate if you could transport me to the airport in a black sedan. Think about how much better your life and relationships would be if you don't have to worry about money as much. The steps to get you there are straightforward, but they won't happen quickly, so let's begin. One of the first things to do is to establish an emergency fund. Save $1,000 for a rainy day fund that you only dip in cases of urgency. Someone once told me a tale about putting their emergency supplies in a picture frame with the words, "Break the glass in case of emergency, hold up that," written on it. It's a basic ring that doesn't involve beer money trips or even an engagement. When we go RE, such as when your vehicle breaks down or when you need to repair your water heater, you should utilize your emergency fund instead of your regular savings. Because everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and instead of borrowing money from your family or using your credit card to go further into debt, you'll have an emergency fund to fall back on. This step is the quickest way to finally get some control over your finances. About 80% of American people live in debt, and we've simply accepted this as a norm. Perhaps we bought something weird we didn't need to furnish an apartment that we couldn't afford, or got a new automobile when we could have bought used for less. It reduces your monthly income, which drastically limits the amount of money you may save. The second thing I'll add is that you save thousands of dollars in interest if you're able to pay off your debt sooner. Forget about cutting down on your daily coffee, because here is where you are going to take the largest step towards financial independence. If you merely pay the minimum for the whole life of the loan, you'll end up handing the bank nearly $158,000, which sort of seems like an emergency. So, how can you get out of debt faster? If you look at it strictly from a purely mathematical perspective, the best approach is to start with the highest interest rate loans and work your way down to lower loans. Another approach, known as the debt snowball, takes into consideration human behavior as well as financial behavior. We were able to pay off the lowest line first, which helped generate momentum and encourage us to pay off the rest of the lines. After becoming serious about paying off my debt, I arranged everything into a spreadsheet and would log in at least twice a week, often more frequently, and imagine what it would feel to pay off some of these debts. In order to motivate myself, I would go through the list and remove them one by one, acting like a maniac. I would also maintain tabs on monthly payments, knowing that if I could make them as low as possible, I could be able to leave my parents' home. I felt a glimmer of optimism resurface. Step number 3. Create a runaway. I began to see a glimmer of hope that I might be able to pay off all of this debt. Isn't it amazing what it would feel like to have 6 to 12 months' worth of costs stashed away at all times? What if you ever were hurt or lost your job or could not get any more clients? This is why it's so crucial to have a runaway in the first place. Open a spreadsheet and record all your monthly expenditures. Rent the kitchen, food, and internet, Netflix, your monthly phone bill, etc. Once I had the information in a spreadsheet, I could see exactly how much money I needed to live on as a freelance voiceover artist with such erratic earnings. That was a strong figure to cut in half, so let's do the arithmetic. Add 6 months to that figure to obtain your initial runaway objective. After then, you'll want to make a follow-up call to receive a year's worth of runaway. It's like a long-term emergency fund, but I wouldn't invest $20 to $2,000 in a buddy because of your terrible luck. I believe that going to a bank is a more secure option. A+ rated pension plan. One of the things you know you shouldn't do but haven't yet done is set aside money for your retirement. You keep telling yourself that you'll do it, but the truth is that you'll never get around to it. Your buddies speak about retirement funds all the time and you just smile and nod, but inside you're thinking, damn you, Brian, you stupid boy. I don't care what your stocks are, and then you think to yourself, what's a 401k? And then you look that one up. Personal finance is often about making short-term sacrifices for long-term gain, and by saving a little each year, you'll be able to ensure a dignified retirement. For the sake of simplicity, let's say you put away $10,000 in a 40-year CD at the age of 20 and get a 10% yearly return on that money. If you don't touch that money until you're 70, you will have more than $1 million in your account. To determine how much money you may have saved up for retirement, utilize a compound interest calculator online. This phone is a snapshot of the US economy dating back to 1923 when the S&P 500 was founded. Since then, it has returned an average of 10% to 11%. If you plan to invest for the long term, you won't need to check your Vanguard account every day. Instead, you'll check it once every 6 months or a year to make sure that everything is still in order. During the 2008 stock market crash, many investors lost money, but that won't affect their long-term returns because they are investing for the long term. This is not a final guide. So, do your research and make an informed choice based on your unique situation. A $5,000 emergency fund from the start would be safer for a freelancer who couldn't bear the danger. But even for those who are able to handle the additional risk and can decide that they do not want to develop a 6-month runaway, there are other options. Invest in your future and your retirement right now if you can, especially if you have a 401k. Match from your employer, since you'll be able to take advantage of compound interest. Having money isn't everything when it comes to achieving financial independence. Listen to podcasts on a certain topic about finance. This will help you reset your priorities every year, as we can sometimes get distracted by shiny objects. Once you've got a solid emergency fund, pay off your debt, pad your bank account with a runaway, and you've got your retirement fund started, you're on your way to financial freedom. And it won't take finishing your retirement fund to finally realize that having money is not everything.